It was the first alternative school in New York State.
Oh, good morning, everyone. We are
Yeah.
now live. I am
Okay.
being Andy Revkin for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's having some technical difficulties, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is in your part of the world. And we are still in the middle of a COVID
Pandemic.
crisis
Yeah.
and midwinter, and hoping that the move is now moving the other way, which we're hoping. I got my first jab yesterday in a very organized manner in our local elementary, local regional school. So I was happy about that. Patrick, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Karen. It's good to see you. And I don't know if people got to hear, but yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I have a song that I wanted to play for everybody that I co-wrote with my high school partner, who we were in our first band together in ninth grade, Charlie Shue, who later became a drummer for a group called Orleans. And I think we're going to have John Hall on a little bit later. But we wrote this song. It's called "The Dream," and I think you've heard it a little bit. But I've been working on it and tweaking it up.
Yeah,
David
it's a
Ross,
great
who's in,
song.
yeah, thank you. So anyway, Charlie and I worked on this up in Ithaca, and well, I'll, you'll hear the song. So. Storm was coming on the horizon. We didn't see it coming. For some of us, a complete surprise. There was something in the counting that said we were fine. Have a man and a woman leave the country for the first time. But hidden voices, they were strident. Fear was building on the rise. Now we're shaken from the outcome right before our eyes. Yes, our nation's backward sliding from the road that we were on. And all that's left is one another to just keep pushing on. We can bring back the dream. We can bring back love. Hand in hand in this world on the wings of a dove. It's in everybody's hearts. It's what I'm dreaming of. We can bring back the dream. We can bring back the love. When I was younger, my father told me, pendulum is always gonna swing. I never realized these years I'm older. In my heart his words would ring. So complicated how we got here, but it's a simple point of fact. People were not lost. We've just been searching, now it's time to get on back. We can bring back the dream, we can bring back love. Hand in hand in this world on the wings of a dove. It's in everybody's hearts. It's what I'm dreaming of. We can bring back the dream. We can bring back that love. We can bring back the dream. We can bring back the love. Once again we can sing. We shall overcome someday.
Yay!
Beautiful, Patrick.
Thank you.
Yay.
Oh,
Andy, you're back. Yay.
I think I am. Yeah, I got to double check my mic
fantastic.
setting. But yeah, so it kicked off okay.
Yep.
Thank
had
you,
to wait till
Karen.
it
Thank you,
stopped
Patrick.
singing. Yeah.
Good morning,
happy to do
everybody.
it.
And I see Nadine and Barbara are in the green room again to come on in a few minutes. Let me just make sure everything is set up here okay. And good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
That was a close call on my end. I'd say it's a very fine line. Maybe I'll sing that in a little while.
Yes,
but here we are, you know.
Yeah,
it takes Karen, thank you for jumping in.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Karen, do you have a song queued up?
I do. I just was thinking about Old Devil Time today. I don't know.
Gosh,
I actually had a neighbor show up right at the last minute before the show who was very angry, and it was like, this is a really good song for this moment.
Good, isn't that that's what music is good for? It heals.
Yeah, it is. Can you hear the guitar okay, or is it still soft?
It still sounds good, Karen.
It's good.
Old devil time, I'm gonna fool you now. Old devil time, you'd like to bring me down. When I'm feeling low, my lovers gather round and help me rise to fight you one more time. Old devil fear, you with your icy hands. Old devil fear, you'd like to freeze me cold. When I'm so afraid, my lovers gather round and help me rise to fight you one more time. Old devil hate, I knew you long ago, and I found out the poison in your breath. When I hear your lies, my lovers gather round and help me rise and fight you one more time. No storm or fire can never beat us down. No wind that blows but carries us further on. And you who fear, all lovers gather round, and we can rise and sing it one more time. And we will rise and sing it one more time.
Great.
Boy, that song has special resonance these days because time
sure
seems
does,
to have been
doesn't
seems to have been frozen. Maybe maybe I will throw in a very fine line.
Good.
Can you hear the
By
guitar?
the way, I
Yes.
can hear the guitar, and I got my first jab yesterday. Just to let
Bravo!
Yes,
My
we're
first
all on the
one's-
way.
First one's coming March 9th, I think. I got to go all the way into New York City to get it, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Great.
It's a very fine line between winning and losing. Very fine line between living and dying. Very fine line between loving and leaving. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. Well, 5 out of 6 lotto numbers won't win you a dime. If that driver ahead is a nut, you may soon be flying. Love's out the door if you say right things at the wrong time. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. It's a very fine line that you got to walk. Gotta watch every word when you make small talk. Gotta watch every step or you'll find yourself crazy and crying. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. A very fine line. A very fine line. It's a very fine line between loony and sane. A very fine line between a loss and a gain. A very fine line between pleasure and pain. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. The people you think are a genius are this far from bent. The president blows an election by 0.5%. We all know love hurts, but we try it again and again. We know that the line between love and despair is so thin. It's a very fine line that you got to walk. Gotta watch every word when you make small talk. Gotta watch every step or you find yourself crazy and crying. Most of your life spent walking a very fine line. It's a very fine line that you got to walk. Gotta watch every word when you make small talk. Gotta watch every step or you find yourself crazy and crying. Most of your life you spend walking that very fine line. A very fine line. A very fine line. Life's a very fine line.
Nice again.
We're getting this version. Peppy, snappy version. That's
Yeah, there you
lively.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, life needs a spark these days too.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Karen, you were like had the reins here, but Patrick, do you have another song queued up? And then we'll bring in Nadine and Barbara a little early because they're involuntarily splitting up soon to go into different geographies. And
yeah, I
so
know.
we'll
She's going to Waltham or something like that. Yeah.
We'll find out more about the details in a minute. Yeah, great.
Yeah, okay. Well, Andy, I wanted to just quickly say what a great show on Friday about the climate change with the indigenous people. It was
Thank you.
Very, very moving and very, very informative. And I sent it to the chief of the Ramapo Lenape people at the head of the
very cool
Hackensack River watershed. So he really liked it. So he'll be
I should get them on the show sometime.
Yeah. I kind of did kind of a what do you call it, reconnaissance into his willingness, and he's definitely open. So
cool. What you got?
Johnny was a Cherokee cowboy, long braids hanging from his hat. Rode horse up the Little S Ranch, rode horse for my Uncle Jack. Stood like a shadow in the saddle, he wrote poetry with his rope. Had a fine word for the little folks, a super folk. Well, Johnny and a Jack come a-calling, took my brother and my sister and I to the Hale County picnic, Part 7 on the 4th of July. Had a brass tent and a little brass band, box lunches on the lawn. When they raised old Glory to the top of the flag, they all sang the freedom song. Oh, say, can't you see, Johnny, why aren't you singing? Say, can't you see, Johnny, is there something wrong? Say, can't you see, Johnny, where are you going? Johnny, why don't you stay? Help us sing the freedom song. Well, the men all took their hats off, hollered and they whooped it up. Johnny just stood there silent, with a hurt and an angry look. Then his face got soft and he knelt right down, looked plumb worn out. He said, "Little partner, it's not my freedom that they're singing about. Oh, say, can't you see, Johnny, why aren't you singing? Say, can't you see, Johnny, is there something wrong? Say, can't you see, Johnny, where are you going? Johnny, why don't you stay? Help us sing the freedom song." Took a lot of stride. Yes, he strode up and rode away. Disappeared by the land of the free. Disappeared in the home of the grave. Since then I've sung that freedom song maybe 100 times or more. But now every time I sing that freedom song, I wonder whose freedom that we're singing for. Oh, say, can't you see, Johnny, why aren't you singing? Say, can't you see, Johnny, is there something wrong? Say, can't you see, Johnny, where are you going? Johnny, why don't you stay? Help us sing the freedom song. Johnny was a Cherokee cowboy, long braids hanging from his hat. And that goes out to Mr. Cowboy Ernie Seitz. Thanks.
Right. Yeah, we got to get him back on here.
Absolutely.
That's such a great song.
Yeah, he taught it to
really
us.
Great song.
It came through Ernie.
Really something.
Yeah.
Did he write it, or is it from another?
No, another person wrote it. I wish I could remember what his name was.
I don't remember the name either.
I can run and tell you in just a minute. But really great guy and a great song. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring Nadine and Barbara and John Hall, who's now in the green room having some of that fresh brewed coffee that I put out.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it's so much fun back in there in that digital space, isn't it? Not.
Yeah.
They're going to come on in a couple minutes. So, Karen, I'd love another tune from you. That was such a beautiful one a couple of minutes ago about time.
Yeah. I'll do a short one that you guys know. David Ross, I think, is out there watching. So
I saw him commenting a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gulf Coast Highway, we work the rails, we work the rice fields with their cool dark wells, we work the oil rigs off the Gulf of Mexico. Only thing we've ever owned is this old house here by the road. Die, we say we'll catch some blackbird's wings. We will fly away to heaven come some sweet blue bonnet spring. Highway 90, jobs are gone. We tend our gardens, we set the sun. This is the only place on earth blue bonnets grow. Once a year they come and go. This old house here by the road. And when we die, we say we'll catch some blackbird's wings. We will fly away to heaven, come some sweet blue bonnet spring. And when we die, we say we'll catch some blackbird's wings. We will fly away together, come some sweet blue bonnet spring.
Oh,
You know,
oh,
that
Karen.
song, we have what they call here is called bluets, and they are the same
Yeah.
flower. And I know we're nowhere near spring. The 20 inches of snow is now 12 inches, so it is going. But that was a little thought for spring. Anyway.
Yeah, we can see signs that the sap is flowing in the maples
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Yep.
Yay.
And I remember, God, I'll have to show that Pete Seeger maybe next week, which is really sap season. I'll show Pete Seeger singing his great syrup song from a video I shot at Little Stony Point
And
a
there's
decade
Nadine
ago.
and Barbara. Yay.
And there's Nadine and Barbara.
Yeah. Hey.
How are you out in the Buffalo area?
Mm-hmm.
And there's Andy.
Good morning.
Karen. Yay.
Yay. Hi,
So nice
Barbara.
to
Hi,
see you.
Nadine.
And hold on a second. I may as well bring John into the party. Hey, John.
Hey, Andy. Hi, everybody.
Thank you
John.
for being here.
John, how are you?
Good morning, all.
Good morning. How are you?
So, John Hall is legendary in both politics and music. The music came first, Orleans.
Legend in my own mind.
Yes, no. I think some of the songs you guys produce are just amazing, and they just keep surfacing. You're still the one, and you're still the one.
Thank you. I'm very lucky and blessed, I would say, to have connected with the Muse a few times. My ex-wife, who's also my songwriting partner, Johanna, and I have written some songs that have been sung by a lot of different people in different situations, and not to mention the Orleans recordings of Dance With Me and Still the One, Half Moon, and so on. It's just I realize part of it's hard work, part of it's being in the right place at the right time. Part of it is having the self-promotion gene, which not everybody has, and I have a bit of that, but but there's a lot of there's sweat equity involved, but there's also just a gift that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, and of course your roots go back to environmental activism, to the music you did around.
My roots go back to when I was 5 years old at my grandmother's house in Providence, Rhode Island, up on the third floor of this old house near the Brown University campus, listening to her collection of Weaver's records.
Oh, that's so cool! I didn't know you had a Rhode Island root. That's where I was born and raised, and I went to Brown. I was a local yokel at Brown.
Good school. They did a good job with Andy.
Yeah. Rhode Island was a magical place to grow up in. So the Bay and everything, and that's where I learned my love of nature. Watching the Menhaden come in, and then watching them disappear as these big seines came through and wiped them out, and then the sewage pollution came through, and then you see the restorative power. If you get out of the way of nature, can do wonderful things. All that happened in my time in Rhode Island. It's wonderful.
Yeah, the things come and go like that. The PCB pollution out of New Bedford, and that whole area, I think is hopefully getting a little bit better now. But it's similar to the Hudson River in that regard.
Right. So Nadine and Barbara, now which one of you is heading to Massachusetts for a while to work on a farm? Is that right?
Yeah, I have been working on this farm. I worked there last summer too, so I'll be taking off. Living in Watertown. Yeah, it's the Waltham Fields Community Farm. It's a really great little
cool.
CSA nonprofit doing some really good food access work in the community, and yeah, I love it. So I'm excited to
That's
get
wonderful.
to it, planting and all that.
You're making me think of Ryder Farm in the eastern part of Putnam County, where we've gathered many, many times. That has a community of workers who come and go and stay there. And it was where two of our close friends, musical friends, lived, and one of them passed away sadly, Dan Einbender. But that community farming, restoring soil in Waltham, that too is an interesting phenomenon. I'm going to post the link to your. I see communityfarms.org. Looks like a relevant
that's
link.
it,
So
yeah.
let me put it up here.
And Nadine, I hope with this summer you can play us some tunes from the gardens. Maybe have somebody hold your phone
Totally.
and put some on, because I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Karen
place.
did that
I'm
with
sure they
some
would
members.
love to have that.
We did a little bit of that last summer from Ryder Farm. So yes, we love live farm-based music.
Oh, so good.
Do you guys have a tune or two you want to offer up this morning to
do.
get us
We
boosted?
sure do. We have some more reels for you.
Fantastic.
As usual. Another set of mostly Quebecois tunes.
Bus Stop is a contemporary Irish style tune.
Yeah, so a little mixture in there.
So we're
Well,
sandwiching
awesome.
that with a little modern between, probably New England, between two Quebecois tunes.
That sounds great. I'm just going to show, before you start, I'm just showing, here's the website for communityfarms.org for Waltham Fields. It looks wonderful.
It's an amazing place, yeah. And everybody who works there is just so great. So I feel very
Wonderful.
lucky to get to be part of that.
All right. Well, let's hear it.
Oh, can we
We're
put
tangled
this
up in
cord
the
somewhere
headphones.
other than in front of my arm?
We have an exciting headphone extension situation here.
Ah, okay.
Is there a way I could get it so I don't knock it all over when I get excited at the piano?
Should be a little bit-
Keeps my sound
It's worth it.
Essentially keeps me out of the way of the wires.
I love the music you produce so well. No worries about the wires.
Thanks.
Hallelujah.
Wow.
That got me standing up. I moved to
Wonderful.
standing mode.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Suddenly, I'm getting a little bit of an echo. David, Ross, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Things are good today. Hey, John, good to see
Hi,
you.
Dave. Good to see you.
You looking well? Karen sounded so beautiful this morning. Great to hear that song from you, Patrick. I loved it. And it is a very fine line day, Andy. You
Yeah.
hit the right song for the right mood today.
Yeah, it just seems life is kind of like that these days. John, I was going to ask you, do you feel glad or frustrated you're out of politics, given what's happened the last year?
Most of the time, I'm glad. Most
Yeah.
of the time, I'm glad. I every once in a while, I wish I could use that platform to reach more people or say something that more people would hear. But I'm healthier.
Yeah,
I'm
I would
healthier
imagine.
and happier not being there. It really is a dangerous job.
Oh,
I mean, I don't mean in terms of people attacking the Capitol. That's dangerous too. But it's 13-hour days, 7 days a week if you do it conscientiously.
Right.
And it could be bigger than that even. Just there's so much, only so many hours in the day. So
And it's rare for people to be satisfied.
well, we miss you, John.
thanks.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I
do.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So with that personal sustainability in mind and the power of music, did you have a song queued up you wanted to?
I do. Funny about that.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this.
Actually, I'm getting ready to, in May, release an album. I always insist on calling it an album, a download CD, album, etc. Stream. And the title of the project is Reclaiming My Time.
Interesting.
Yeah, which one says on the floor of the House of Representatives or the Senate, I guess. If in mid-sentence you're interrupted by somebody who wants to chime in, you can say, well, I yield to the gentleman from Idaho or whatever state it is. And then when you want to finish what you're saying, you go, reclaiming my time, Madam Speaker. I like to say that. So I'm
just showing your website briefly. So
okay. Yeah. There's that song Home, which is a new recording by Orleans. It'll be on our new record. It's coming out sometime soon. Great. But anyway, so reclaiming the time that 10 years in elected office, part of it's reclaiming what music I might have recorded and written and released during those 10 years. And part of it is a play on words. So here's a song. This is a new one that Johanna and I wrote last year, and it goes like this. There was a time before you. Nights were so restless and blue. But that seems like a lifetime ago. Without a doubt, you and I should know. Now more than ever, we've got to come together, hearts and hands entwined. We'll soon discover we need each other to weather these stormy times, now more than ever. Love is what binds us, it's clear. What tears us apart is only fear. When the wolf is at the door and the winter winds moan, we're stronger together than we could be alone. And now more than ever, we've got to stand together, our hearts and hands entwined. We'll soon discover we need each other to weather these stormy times, now more than ever. 'Cause sun is still hiding, but green shoots are rising now. How does love keep resisting? Our spirits are lifting now, more than ever. Now more than ever, we got to come together. Our hearts and hands entwined. We'll soon discover that we need each other to weather these stormy times. Now more than ever. Now more than ever. Now more than ever.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I'm learning to play it still, and I'm not as awake as Nadine and Barbara were.
You're doing pretty well, I would say.
Nice.
Patrick's coming back in. We had a little glitch there. Hey, Patrick.
Hi, John. How are you? Yeah.
Hey, Patrick.
So David Ross, I'd love it to see what you've got queued up musically. What's on your musical?
Well, it's
mind
interesting
this morning?
because, yeah, time is on everyone's mind these days. You know,
Yeah.
COVID brain time, which is the strangest. You know, but it's made me think about that song I wrote last year about that mighty sculptor time.
I love that tune.
And I just was reading this week about new revelations from people exploring the wreck of the ship that brought the Elgin marbles to London. But I still think about those Greek and Roman sculptures that are still at the bottom of the Mediterranean from all the travel in art that took place way, way long time ago. Anyhow, here's that mighty sculptor time, which is dedicated to that great writer, Marguerite Yourcenar. You slept for centuries beneath the sea. 300 souls drowned with you. Your sleep was guarded by the time and tide. Dark and cold is all you knew. Time changes us all. Time changes us all. That mighty sculptor, time. A 1,000 years has come and gone. The sculptor's work is never done. Left sleeping on the ocean floor. Now you're awakened by the sun. Time changes us all. Time changes us all. That mighty sculptor, time. So now you're back on the land again, bathed in love, caressed by light. Your body rough-hewn by relentless seas, defying death without a fight. Time changes us all. Time changes us all. That mighty sculptor, time.
broken-hearted, for we've not learned to ease the dying of our dreams. Old love forgotten, new love is scorned. Some things ruined, some redeemed. Time changes us all. Time changes us all. That mighty sculptor, time. That mighty sculptor, time. That mighty sculptor, time.
That's
Absolutely beautiful.
beautiful.
It's a really a masterful song.
And I
Thank
think
you, thank you.
Patrick helped write that too, didn't he?
Well, Patrick works with me. Patrick and I are writing partners. We work
Yeah,
on everything
yeah.
That's
together.
great.
That was a great
This
song.
this was actually my first full song, and it's wonderful to be on with John, because the first time I ever played in public was at a fundraiser at Jonathan Rose's house, where everybody was encouraged. Remember when we all used to go up there to play before we got
totally.
our band together? And John, I was so nervous playing in front of you. I can't tell you. I mean, I'd never played except in my own little room, you know. So
Yeah.
now all these years later.
Yeah. Well, we all have those moments, but you sounded great.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
And I've got a note here that we have a new guest. Joseph Pupe is back with us from
Yay.
Lusaka, Zambia.
Joseph, so nice to see you.
How are you?
Hey. Hey, and
Hey, Joseph.
I think I'm going to say goodbye so that there's more room on the screen for you. Hey, Joseph, so good to see you. I miss seeing you.
Karen, glad
and
you got your first jab.
So good to see you.
Yeah. I'm going to say goodbye to as well. And John,
All right,
it was lovely just to see you here. And
Oh.
Good Enough is one of my favorite tunes of all time.
Well, thank
Good
you so
enough.
much, Patrick.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
Thanks. Have a great day. You too, Karen.
You too. I hope Joseph can get back on. All
Yeah, I
right.
see he's
Nice
coming
to see
back
you
in.
guys.
The internet access there is always a challenge. He's working on it. I see him in the green room knocking on the door, the digital door. So here, I think he's coming back. Nadine and Barbara, I would love to hear another tune or set from you. And here comes Joseph again. Let's see. Joseph, hey, man. Let's see how your sound is. Can you hear us, Joseph? He's still setting up there.
Hello? Hi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was trying to type something. Yeah, limited connection here. It's been raining and crazy. I'm sure the connection is quite a little bit bad, but I'm trying to get back. But it's so exciting to be here. Hi, Karen, hi, David, hi, Andy, and everybody else tuning in, and to the artists too. Everything is well and good here. Been following the program and happy to be back. I don't know, maybe I could quickly just jump on a song, just in case we have those.
Why don't we try? We'll try, and then I can always play one of the recordings.
Cynthia, apologies in advance. She did disconnect, but I'm determined to just beat this trouble.
Try it.
So the title, so let's celebrate who we are, you and me, regardless of our background and everything else that matters. So let's just celebrate who we are as human beings. Enjoy this song. Reality, our thinking hurts. Our world has opened up for us to take our place. Let's celebrate future for tomorrow. Celebrate who we are, you and me. Oh, dear future for acceleration. Time has come to achieve our goal, to see our dreams coming true. Oh, let's celebrate who we are, you and me. Yeah. Beautiful tomorrow. Let's celebrate who we are, you and me. Hey, yeah. Beautiful future tomorrow. Let's celebrate we are, you and me. Beautiful future tomorrow. Yeah, we did.
Hold on. It worked. It worked. There was a little static, but the song was beautiful.
I don't know if everything was good. I don't know if you guys get anything, but maybe they might want to rewatch it. Recorded one would be great. It won't be skipping.
Yeah, that came through really nicely. But I do feel, let me play one of the recordings that I have queued up just so everyone can appreciate how beautiful this music is. And what was really particularly special is this recording has you plus Breakneck Ridge Review together. So hold on a second, and I will play that. Thank you,
Sounded
everyone.
really good,
David, that was
sounded really good,
song.
Joseph.
I just heard it.
Sounded good, man.
Hold on one second.
I think David, I actually loved your song too. And I'm glad I sang after you, you know, because that piece was beautiful, the progression and everything.
Thank you, my friend.
I'll watch it and try to end the song later. Yeah.
Okay, so here we are.
Then I'll hop in later.
Okay, so everybody try to mute, and let's see. Hopefully the sound is good.
Sitting here asking myself, who is gonna do this song?
Whoop, hold on.
Everyone seems to be doing their own thing. I won't run because I know. Sing after me. I have the power. I have the power to change my path. To change my path. I am a champion. I am a champion. I have the power. I have the power. Lead us. I have the power. I have the power to change my path. To change my path. I am a champion. I am a champion. I have the power. I have the the power.
Patrick.
I have the power.
I have the power
To change my path.
to change my path.
I am champion.
I am champion.
I have the power.
I have the power. We have the power. We have the power to change our path. To change our path. We are champions. We are champions. We have the power. We have the power. We have the power. We have the power. Change our path. To change our path. We are champions. We are champions. We have the power. We have the power. We have the power. We have the power to change our path. To change our path. We are champions. We are champions. We have the power. We have the power.
Pretty cool. Well, Joseph has popped off for a little bit, but that was his song. And, you know, the miracle of long distance production is that you can have a worldwide chorus. And that was beautiful, really beautifully done. So from Zambia to Buffalo or thereabouts, we go with music from the Celtic tradition. Whoops, sorry, I have to
Using Squarespace helped my business.
stop that. Okay, great. So Nadine and Barbara, yeah, one more contribution from you would be wonderful.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of us, by the way, for welcoming us into this wonderful community. It's been such a gift to be with you.
Yeah, I'm thrilled you could be part of it and will be part of it.
Oh, definitely the intention is there.
I think I see a grandchild in the mix there down in Beacon. Who are we looking at, David?
It's my granddaughter, Eleanor.
Hey, Eleanor.
Hi, Eleanor.
I like the mask with eyes. That's cool. Hi.
Yeah.
You have a great granddad. Awesome.
Bye-bye. They're on the way back to Brooklyn.
All right. Okay, so back to Buffalo, and thank you again for chiming in so beautifully on the piano and flute.
Thank you.
I did post earlier, Nadine, that we have to have a shoe camera, a shoe cam. Sometimes get the.
I was thinking about that right when we were starting. I forgot to set it up.
Yeah, it'd be awesome for another time.
Little phone on a little stand.
Yeah.
I'll get you those one of these days.
Great.
Well, we have two more Quebecois tunes for you, but this time they're jigs. So
Well, they're not really bouncy jigs, though. I mean, they're jig
That's
time,
okay.
but they're not like jump up and down tunes.
jig
It is a Sunday morning, so we don't have to jump up and down completely.
We call them smooth jigs.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that.
They're smooth jigs. We fell in love with one of them on a Vanden Noord recording. It's like, we've got to play this tune.
All right.
I'm just going to remove these while I play,
Sure.
and then I'll put them back. Which one are we starting with? Set it on?
sweet.
That was
I
beautiful.
should say the titles
Very
of
sweet.
those tunes. The first one was called La Fée des Dents, which is the Tooth Fairy. And the second one was Jig du Salon, which is living room jig,
Remember
right?
the jig of the living room?
Yeah.
It was written by our friend Pascal Gem from Genticorum. And we used to call it the Genticorum jig for years because we couldn't find the title.
How long have you been performing together? Basically, well, how long? How many years?
I think we started in 2004, so that would be
Beautiful. It's getting to be.
That was a while ago.
Yes, no, it's
More than
wonderful.
a decade. Yeah.
But there's a wonderful smoothness to the way you play together. It's just great. So, guarantee.
One
Well,
of the happiest words I've ever heard was Nadine coming to me and saying, "Mom, would you like to play together, or can we start a band?" Or just coming to me and saying she wanted to play together. And as a mother, that must count as one of the happiest times.
I do have a picture when my son, who's now 30, when he was around 2. It's a picture of me playing my guitar, and he's a toddler with his hands covering the strings because saying "Stop, Daddy," because to him the guitar was competition. You know, I'm either playing with him or playing with my guitar. So it was a different dynamic in that case. So I really appreciate that how you've come together that way through music. It's wonderful. And John Hall, I don't know if you can fit in another song for us. That'd be wonderful if you can. Oh, you're muted right now, John. You're muted.
I would love to fit in another song. Here's one as a longtime resident of the Hudson Valley of New York. You might have heard the song for Andy. I put it out on a record a few years ago, but it was written with one of my favorite lyricists and a good friend, Tad Richards. And it's called Banks of the Hudson. And I don't play the fiddle or the pipe, so I'll whistle instead. I come from the place that they call the wild north. By the tears of the clouds I was nurtured. A free-flowing stream told me, follow your dream, as the water rolls down to the future. Each rivulet grew with the fast melting snow, and they joined where the shad were running. By an Iroquois longhouse of bark and of hide, on the banks of the flowing Hudson. In 77, we came from our huts to the fence of Fort Ticonderoga, then gathered together as comrades in arms to stand fast at old Saratoga. We were farmers and merchants and men from the woods at the dawn of America's freedom. A sapling that stood like a towering oak on the banks of the mighty Hudson. Well, I worked on the sloops and the steamships that sailed the Catskill, the Gipsy, and Kingston. One day I looked up and saw the tall stacks of the steamboat of Robert Colton. great bridge that Guy called Tappan Zee. Tables and girders and pylons, and looked on with horror as death from the clouds tore the twin torrents down from the skyline. But we'll keep on rolling that river, and new life grows out of destruction. That lake in the mountains, that big city lies on the banks of the mighty Hudson.
Sweet.
That's a great one. Oh, I love
Very
the
nice.
That's a great one, John.
And it's one of those tunes that I'm sure we all just wanted to play along with.
Yeah,
the digital constraints are still frustrating, but that's a song we got to sing at the town crier.
Exactly.
When that's all back and up and running as part of our Breakneck Ridge review. John, a beautiful tune.
Thank you.
And I've just brought onto the screen from the Catskills, live from the Catskill Mountains, Rick and Donna Nestler. Donna with a broken bone, or two in your leg. Hope you're healing okay, and you're unmuting. And Rick Polari, banjo.net, a wonderful musician also from the area here. Although now, are you in Vermont, Rick? I'm trying to remember. You're in Vermont, right? Oh, you're muted. Let me see if
Rick's
I can.
been in Vermont for a long time.
A long time.
I'm near Burlington.
If you get his new book, you can read all about when he moved there.
We may do a whole session on his book. He sent me an e-copy. So Rick, it'd be great to get you on here to talk about that a little bit, and just the history of the banjo. And maybe I got to get you back here when Fred Carlson is on again, because you guys overlapped in Vermont. And Fred, I still play his tune on the Twitter. I posted sometimes the one he did on his banjo that looks like a frog. He's such a character.
That was good.
So it's great to have you all here, all with this, New York State of mind and Vermont and Buffalo, Nadine and Barbara. Whether you come on from Waltham or Buffalo, you're welcome here anytime. And David, of course.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
So Rick and Donna, how are you guys doing? Donna, are you like out of pain from your broken?
I broke the top of my tibia off, and my meniscus totally came off.
Oh,
so
ow!
It's fun. The thing that hurts most right now is my shoulders from using the walker.
Oh yeah.
So
well, entropy sucks.
Yeah. Hey, I was having a great day skiing until I wasn't.
There you go. So, given that we just had that wonderful Hudson ballad, do you guys have Rick and Donna? Do you have a?
As a matter of fact, yeah, we've got a song that you apparently requested last week.
Because you hadn't heard it in a long time. I don't remember us doing it.
Okay.
Can you guess which one?
Well, there was the one about Washington, but you did that one, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to. Well, what? Tell me what we're talking about here.
Last week you mentioned the river that flows both ways.
Yes, John Hall. You would appreciate that. A couple of weeks ago, I was asking them to sing the one. What do they make in Washington? And it's about in Idaho they grow potatoes, but here and everything they do. But what do they do in Washington, Daddy?
There's a saying. There are two things you don't want to see made: sausage and legislation.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Well, my own feeling is that if we could learn to harness all the hot air flying around in Congress, we could probably solve the energy problem.
John, one quick question, John Hall. Did you happen to see when? It was Bill Maher did this. He gave an award to Waxman, to Henry Waxman, for being the wonk, to being the ultimate quiet, back-scene legislation writer, the kind of person we need more of in Washington. He gave him an award, like a fake trophy. It was really pretty funny. And Waxman came on the show. I don't know if you intersected much.
Not much, no. But I was certainly a fan of his and followed his work.
Yeah. Okay, so back, Rick and Donna, to this Hudson River.
Okay. The history of the Hudson River crammed into about 5 minutes.
Ready?
Once a sachems told a story of a land the Great Spirit blessed, and the people followed the legend from the great waters in the west. They stopped where they found that the fishing was good, earth it was fertile, and game ran in the woods. I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. First came the trappers, then the traders, their own fortunes for to find, while musicians sing its praises, made along and keep in time. Sunset and golden for the Palisades, afternoon ends and the daylight fades, and now I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. Writers and painters have shown its beauty in its waters and on the shore, while musicians sing its praises and keep alive the river's lore. With the sunset and golden o'er the Palisades, afternoon ends and then the daylight fades, and now I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. Now maybe it's the moonshine, maybe it's starlight reflected in Haverstraw Bay. Maybe it's the fog that rolls off the highlands at the break of a brand new day. But apple cider and pumpkins, strawberries and corn make the people of the river glad they were born. And now I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both
Great. Absolutely great.
Never get tired of hearing that song. It's so great. So great to hear you guys sing it together.
Really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And oh, but it's so beautiful. Rick, when did you write that? Like how many decades ago, dare I ask?
I originally wrote it in 1980.
And it's just one of those enduring tunes. It's fantastic.
Well,
Thank you
a
for
lot
that.
of people around here seem to like it, so.
Yeah, it's good. That river is a pretty inspiring place. Toward the end, I might sing a tune about it. But let's get to the Vermont side of this conversation this morning. And Rick Polari.
Well, it's great to be here again. It's been a while.
I can do
it. Yep.
And, one of the things that I've been talking about, on Facebook and things is about the idea as we grow older, it's harder to play our instruments with our hands and things like that. So, I wrote in my journal, don't let the old man out, my motto is don't let the old man out. Try to keep thinking young and trying things. And I just thought I'd play a little banjo to get things going. One of my old favorite songs. Her age is 43, makes her biscuits by the peck, but she won't marry me. Angeline Baker, Angeline Baker, Angeline, Angeline, Angeline Baker, Angeline Baker, Angeline Baker, Angeline, Angeline, Angeline Baker. She says she is a baker, and she is too stout. Mix her biscuits every day, pours the coffee out. Angeline, Angeline, Angeline Baker, Angeline, Angeline, Angeline Baker, Angeline, Angeline, Angeline Baker, Angeline, Angeline, Angeline Baker. Before I met Angeline, swore I'd never marry. Now I swear to God, our children she will carry. Angeline, Angeline, Angeline Baker, Angelina Baker, Angelina Baker, Angeline, Angeline, Angelina Baker, Angelina Baker, Angelina Baker. Now my story's finished, now my story's over. I wish I was with Angeline, rolling in the clover. Angeline, Angeline, Angelina Baker, Angelina Baker, Angelina Baker, Angeline, Angeline, Angelina
Woo-wee. Well, I don't see the old man coming out.
Well, I made sure that I practiced. I did the warm-ups, because in the old days, you'd be able to just jump right out there like a bull out of the chute and play. But I'm finding out that it's not that easy anymore. But the cool thing is that we did this. I put out a post on Facebook, and so many people from all different walks of life. I mean, political parties, everybody joined in. Everybody joined in on this idea of growing old and playing music and how we have to compensate in order to keep doing what we love. And the important thing is that we don't stop. Even if we do have, these different kind of issues going on, that we compensate and we figure out how to do it. Does anybody else have any issues like that?
Sure. I mean, I've decided that if my arthritis kicks in too badly, first of all, I'm going to switch fully to bottleneck slide guitar, because then at least it's just doing this as opposed to doing all that. And I love playing slide guitar, but that's my backstop for one thing. My friend Vince Bell, from down in Texas and then Santa Fe, he had this horrible car wreck where he was slammed by a drunk driver right at the beginning of his career. And I've always been humbled and inspired by his story, which he wrote a book about it too. He literally had to rebuild his whole idea of musicianship. His voice, every part of him was broken, and he had a brain injury. He took a job at a parking lot so he could walk around at night just doing vocal exercises. And he reinvented how he does his finger picking. And if he could do that, I just figure, we all have a future, because he wrote his best album a decade or two after he did that, Phoenix, which was about rising from destruction. So it inspires me. That book is a good inspiration. And his story, Vince Bell, just go to Phoenix, Google for Phoenix, Vince Bell. He's been on the show twice. And
it was wonderful seeing him in Garrison also at the theater that time. That was a beautiful performance. Yeah.
And we had him. He also came to the the bar in Beacon.
Yeah. He sure did.
Are you guys okay sliding past noon a little bit? I'd love to get one more in from John and something from David, and then circle out with a little more from Rick and Rick and Donna, if that's possible. So, John, do you have a last musical thought for this morning before it becomes afternoon?
Sure. I've been known for writing a lot of angry environmental songs, but I think I'll do another happy song. It's time to be uplifting, in my opinion, anyway, for myself. This is a tune I wrote with Steve Warner, and it's I spent a lot of time on the water sailing or visiting islands, and I'm a fan of the interface between the land and the ocean and everything that happens there. So this one's called Another Sunset. Picture is perfect here in paradise. You and me strolling by the shore. You can see you're anxious to get back to real life. You want to pack and hit the road, but I want something more. Another sunset with you, surrounded by your melting laughter. Just one more swim in the lagoon, one more kiss under the moon, another sunset with you. lights on the mainland never go out. The hum of the highway never ends. Duty is calling me, but I can't hear it now. There's important business to which I must attend. Another sunset with you. Surrounded by your lilting laughter. Just one more swim in the lagoon, one more kiss under the moon, another sunset. Trade winds whistling by, seagulls asking why. A person such as I would think about leaving without seeing another sunset with you. Surrounded by your lilting laughter. Just one more swim in the lagoon, one more kiss under the moon, another sunset. Don't make me go yet. Just one more sunset with you. Just one more sunset. With you.
Just another sunset.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That's the one thing I do miss up here in the Hudson Valley. Obviously, this is an arm of the sea. We're in a fjord more than a river here where we are in the highlands, but I miss the ocean. Growing up in Rhode Island, I did spend a year and a half sailing 2/3 of the way around the planet once, and when I was in my 20s, early 20s, and that sits in my memory all the time. I might do a tune about that at the end. It's something I don't think I've ever played it with Breakneck Ridge, so it would be new to all of you. But let's have a little bit more from my friends here before we go. David Ross, did you have a last tune?
Yeah, well, of course, it wouldn't be a Sunday if I didn't put a Guy Clark song out.
Yay.
Into this space. I think I'll do Magnolia Wind. I'd rather sleep in a box like a bum on the street than a fine feather bed without your little old cold feet. And I'd rather be deaf, dumb and stone blind, than to know that your morning would never be mine. And I'd rather die young than to live without you. And I'd rather go hungry than to eat lonesome stew. You know it's once in a lifetime, and it won't come again. It's here and it's gone on a magnolia wind. rather not walk through the garden again if I can't catch your scent on a magnolia wind. Well, if it ever comes time that it comes time to go, sis, pack up your fiddle, sis, pack up your bow. If I can't dance with you, then I won't dance at all. I'll just sit this one out with my back to the wall. Well, I'd rather not hear pretty music again if I can't hear your fiddle on a magnolia wind. Well, I'd rather not walk through the garden again if I can't catch your scent on a magnolia wind.
Beautiful. God, we miss Guy Clark.
I keep
that boat that I was on.
I keep
back
him
in
close
the,
by, so I don't miss him. I just keep him close by.
When I was on that boat, and when I was 23, in on the other side of the planet, we ended up with a cassette of his album that had all these tunes that I've been playing ever since, and I played it and played it and played it and played it and played it, and played it.
He's a good companion. Guy Clark's a good companion. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe again, the last kind of a farewell and see you next week or whenever tune from Rick Polari, and then something from Donna and Rick would be awesome. And thank you all for being here today. And John Hall, it's great to see you again.
Well, I thought I would try something brand new.
Cool.
I'm going to go for it. It's a real kind of a simple kind of a song. A good friend, folk community many years ago left us, Rachel Bissix. I don't know if you heard of Rachel, but she was a good pal of mine, and she passed away from cancer a long time ago. And right now, they're here in Vermont. They're doing a call out for all songwriters to write a song about what you're going through in the pandemic, or what you're thinking about, or something in honor of Rachel as a songwriter. And I was thinking about, remember, this is brand new, so I don't know how it's gonna go. We'll all be together. We'll all be together. We'll all be together as this virus leaves this land. That's the chorus. We'll all be together. We'll all be together. We'll all be together as this virus leaves this land. It's been such a long time since I've seen your face. It's been such a long time since I felt your grace. But we'll all sing together. We'll all sing together. We'll all sing together as the virus leaves this land. That's your part. Let's try that. We'll all sing together. We'll all sing together. We'll all sing together as this virus leaves this land. Alone in the morning, I greet the morning sun. Alone in the starlight, when my work is done. But we'll all dance together. We'll all dance together. We'll all dance together as this virus leaves this land. Try it again. We'll all dance together. We'll all dance together. We'll all dance together as this virus leaves this land. You know how I miss you. It's been a long, long year. I want to hug and kiss you and brush away your fears. We'll all be together. We'll all be together. But we'll all be together as this virus leaves this land. We'll all sing together. We'll all sing together. We'll all sing together as the virus leaves this land.
Yeah, we'll have to have you. If I don't know what you're doing on March 21st, Sunday, March 21st, but turns out it's International Poetry Day, and this group that last year I did a session with called the Wick Poetry Center at Kent State University. They're doing something they're pulling together poems about vaccination or related to vaccines and the virus. So maybe, and we had music on the last time. Magpie was on, and Reggie Harris were on for their last poetry slam. And if you could come on the March 21st, sure, that'd be cool.
Sounds good. Well, I was thinking about, with the chorus, the idea, what Pete would be thinking about. He would be thinking about when we all get back together again. That was, he'd be focusing on, there's going to be a time when this is going to be over and we're going to sing together and we're going to dance together. And that's what I was feeling. Trying to feel that feeling of hope in the middle of this pandemic, which is hard. It's a hard thing these days.
You're also reminding me of one of the earliest sessions we did here. Karen Brooks pulled out From a Distance, Julie Gold's spectacular song from decades ago in a very different context. It was written, but when she was singing it, it was like so powerful because it was the idea of, being connected from a distance. We've had to find ways to be a community at a safe distance. And that's the word social distancing was the worst possible term for what had to happen this past year. It's physical distance, social connection. And when she sang that song, I was pretty much a teary mess. I can't remember who else was on that day. Probably David Ross was on. So Rick and Donna, a last song for this day.
Before we get on with before we play. John, where do you go sailing?
I have sailed from Martha's Vineyard to Cuba, to Havana and back, and all up and down the East Coast and some places on the West Coast, but mainly I'm a Northeast sailor. I learned to sail at Cuttyhunk Island.
Oh gosh, me too.
Try not to row a boat and all that stuff at the Cuttyhunk Yacht Club, and used to race lightnings with my dad and my brothers on Cuca Lake and the Finger Lakes when I was growing up. And
so Cuttyhunk Harbor is where my dad first threw us into the dinghy. Like each one of us got to go in our little. It's called a sabat, the dinghy. He made it out of plywood, a sailing dinghy. And the first time I sailed alone at age 3 or 4 was in the sabat in Cuttyhunk Harbor.
Yeah, well, it's a great place for kids to sail because you can't get lost.
right.
Landlocked, you can't drift out to sea. It's a great learning place. So, and I have family there still. lots of cousins.
Cool.
Well, that's really cool. And
Number
Donna and Rick, of course, you sail.
Well, that's what my number 2 coming up, Andy, is because we were going to, once this is under control, we were going to go sailing. And you've met Elliot Storm on the program with me. And he called the other day, and with my broken leg, I'm not going to be working on the boat for 2 or 3 or more months. So he said, don't worry, I'll get it in the water for you so we can go down and play on the boat.
She's joined the show from their boat in Mamaroneck Harbor a bunch of times, John. So
yeah,
maybe you can go sailing with them. That'd be awesome.
Now here's another boat song.
This is one for a boat that Pete Seeger once owned and now sails out of the Beacon Sloop Club and belongs to them at this point.
It's on the Rick's album, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's on Steering Pete's Course. Wish I could get the banjo on here with it, but she's got a cast iron keel and planks of oak, a mast of yellow pine, a big cockpit for 10 or more folks. She suits us all just fine. So raise the main and back the jib. Let's head out to Newburgh Bay. The sloop Woody Guthrie is a fine little boat. We're all set to sail away. We're headed down the river today, setting sail to make it to Cold Spring. With the wind on the nose, we'll be tacking all the way till we get across from Old Storm King. So raise the main and back the jib. Let's head out to Newburgh Bay. The sloop Woody Guthrie is a fine little boat. We're all set to sail away. You can't sail upwind going straight ahead. Sail off at an angle to and fro. You can use what opposes you to gain your goal instead. A secret every sailor does know. So raise your main and back the jib. Let's head out to Newburgh Bay. The sloop Woody Guthrie is a fine little boat. We're all set to sail away. Sometimes the wind's against you, sometimes it is your friend. Sometimes the wind, it just fails. Remember, in the end, you can't change the wind. You can always adjust the sail. So raise the main and back the jib. Let's head out to Newburgh Bay. The sloop Woody Guthrie is a fine little boat. We're all set to sail away. We're all set to sail away. Yes, we're all set to sail away.
Ooh, yes. I love that line. You can't change the wind, but you can change your sails. That's adaptive capacity is something we all need in these strange days.
I got that from Pete, so
that's great.
Yeah.
You can't change the wind, but you can change your sails. I'm just going to close out with I was going to do this song from long ago about my sailing overseas, but it's slow and it's kind of mournful. So instead, I'm going to do Between the River and the Rails because we're on the Hudson. And here we go to close
Wish we
things
could
out.
sing it with you.
I know, what can we do? So here's Between the River and the Rails. It's about Guinan's, this little shop and unlicensed bar in Garrison on the waterfront here. When I first moved here in 1991, became a hangout for anyone. It was the Thursday after the full moon. We just had a full moon, so next Thursday normally we'd go to Guinan's. This goes out to Dan Einbender too, who actually lived there for a little while at Guinan's.
when I'm feeling so low that roadkill looks lucky. This happens more times than you might like to hear. There's one destination that makes me feel better, down where the tide flows by just like the beer. Between the river and the rails, in a room behind the store, fireplace roaring, Guinness pouring. How could you ask for anything more? Well, cops and stockbrokers and writers and loafers all flock when that green neon shamrock does glow. So drop all your worries, slow down, there's no hurry. Come on to Guinan's, some peace you will know. Between the river and the rails, in a room behind the store, fireplace roaring, Guinness pouring. How could you ask for anything more? On the first Thursday, just past the full moon, musicians, they gather from far and away, settling in for a long night of tunes. Wild Rover and Danny Boy, oh how they play. Hey, hey. Between the river and the rails, in a room behind the store, fireplace roaring, Guinness pouring. How could you ask for anything more? One more round, boys. Between the river and the rails, in a room behind the store, fireplace roaring, Guinness pouring. How could you ask for anything more? How could you ask for anything more?
Well, I could sing along, but I just had to do it with the mute on.
I know that's what we'll have to do for a short while longer, I guess. So everybody, John Hall, David Ross, Rick Polari, Rick and Donna Nestler, heal that leg, Donna. Be better, and get back out of the water, get the boat fixed, and come back anytime, all of you, anytime, pretty much every week until I find some reason I'm not somewhere else on a Sunday morning, which I think will be a while still. So thanks again for being here today.
Thank you. Stay healthy, everyone. Say hello to Lisa.
I will do that. I love
Take
that you act
care.
every week. Take care, everybody.
Take care of your leg, Donna.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Bye, you all.
Rick's helping.